What's up everyone, it's Kudes Athletics, and in this video I'm going to talk about why you don't want to be 6% body fat just like me. Now disclaimer, I usually hover between 6 to 9% on the days, but for the most part it varies around 6 to 7. Now usually I post more fitness, instructional, educational content, but that is getting kind of stale and kind of boring for me, so I decided to mix it up and let you guys watch me play some video games while I do this narration over it. So basically, when it comes down to getting lean and looking good, I know you want to look like the movie star when you see Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron and they're all ripped and shredded in the movies. And let me tell you, it feels good at first, but after a while, it does get pretty miserable. And you might be thinking like, Kudes Athletics, you're crazy. Like, why would you never want to be 6% body fat? Why would you never want to be jacked and shredded all the time? And don't get me wrong, like I hear you. I really, really do. But I don't think anyone really talks about the dark side or just the more depressing side of having a body looking like this. And if you think I'm crazy that anyone could ever even have any downside emotion for even having a physique like this, let me tell you guys, like it's a real thing. And especially if you talk to a lot of people who live in the gym, especially bodybuilders. So while it might sound crazy, bodybuilders can be some of the most insecure people that you'll ever meet. And even people who aren't bodybuilders like myself, but our gym rats can also be insecure at times, regardless of what you think, just looking at them at their physique on the outside. So let me explain the drawbacks and why the insecurities arise. So when you start to build a body like this, eventually it becomes this new norm. So imagine if you didn't have this type of physique, but let's compare it to like a money analogy. If you buy like a nice car, let's compare the car to the body. So let's say you have a Ferrari looking body, Camaro, Maserati, whatever your style is. And eventually, after having this car for 6 months to a year, it becomes your new norm. Your body can take off 0 to 60 in, what is it, like a fraction of a second? I really don't know much about cars, but I would assume probably under a second a Ferrari can get there, right? And that just becomes your new norm. Your car can drift left and right fast, go around everyone, swoop in and out. And it really just becomes your new norm, and it becomes your ego for the most part when it comes to physicality. And so let's say you get used to this a year, 2 years, 3 years, because you're working hard to keep it. Like, why would you ever want to go back to the other body that you have, right? That doesn't make any sense. If you have a Ferrari, and the next thing you know, you go back to this basic Civic car that's 20 years old, takes forever, can't drive fast, and it's like, wow, dude, like this sucks, And so that's kind of what it seems like too when it comes to physicality and having this type of physique. You get used to having this natural, lean physique that always looks good, under 10% body fat, but in the end, a lot of times, and I wouldn't even say a lot of times, for the most part, 99.9999% of people don't care. They really, really, I promise you, they don't care. The only time people see you shirtless is if you're at the beach or some type of water area where you have your shirt off, or B, if you're posting online content like I do myself or like anyone else. Other than that, no one ever sees it. And no one's ever thinking about it, but no one cares. But, at the same time, in our own head, my own head, it's like, not that I care about other people's opinion when it comes to this, but it's like in my head, it's like this matters, like to no other degree, for some reason that I can't explain, And I know that even though no one cares, and even if I went from the 6% body fat to like 12% body fat, which is like a pretty standard way to go, no one cares, no one's gonna look at you different. But at the same time, it's like my ego just can't comprehend it. Going back to the other analogy, in that Ferrari one, I'm not saying you go from a Ferrari to basic Civic, going to 12% body fat, it's like a Ferrari to like still a nice like Bentley car, right? Maybe not as good, or maybe a Bentley might be better in your opinion, but Ferrari to something that's just not as good, but still really good. So it's not much of a downgrade, but in your head, when you live this type of body and live this type of, athletic performance your entire life, it's like any minimal downgrade, it's just killer psychologically. And so that's like a very dark side that I've experienced, and I think a lot of other people who I've experienced talking to, that's just something they've also gone through. And so when people see that, these movie stars get on 6% body fat, they look all huge. Someone like Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie Roadhouse, if you've ever seen that. It looks good in the movie, guys, but making it sustainable over time, like it can get pretty freaking miserable. Because again, you have this ego of insecurity that comes up every day sometimes, or for the most part. And it's just like you look at yourself in the mirror, even though I know I look good the way I look, it's like you see yourself and you think it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's like it has to be better no matter what. Absolutely no room for error. And eventually that kind of just overtakes and it consumes you. And that's I guess you can kind of look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. That's the reason why I don't ever get fat. But at the same time, it's like this controls a lot of my life, and it is healthy. But like at the same time, it's kind of not healthy because when you're as lean as I am, your body has like no reserve fat, which I mean looks good. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to toot my own horn and like sound cool and shit. But like on the other end, when people see that, like, oh man, like you look good, no fat in your body. On the other side, dude, your body's constantly starved. It's miserable. I'm hungry 24/7, and I want to eat. A lot of times I do eat, but at the same time, it's like I know if I keep eating because my body's hungry, it's just like I don't want to say it comes from a place of insecurity, but it's just like my ego. Like again, I don't want to go from that Ferrari back down to a different car. It's like, yeah, I know I can go from like 6% body fat to like 12 or 13, still look good, and still have a nice body and everything. But it's just in my head, it's like I see myself in the mirror and think, no, it's not good enough. Can't do it. I won't do it. And so again, when you live this type of lifestyle with a body like this lean, your body is constantly hungry, and it's like you want to eat, and a lot of times you can eat whatever you want for the most part, but it's just a state of like a mental battle, I almost call it, because it is very easy to consume things, especially junk food at this point, because when your body's already hungry for shit that doesn't even taste good, it's like when you find something that's really, really good, like a donut or like candy bar, it's like you could down it all day, no matter what. And so there is just a lot of psychological factors. And then like you think if I ever went back down to 13, 14% body fat, or even some people go like 17, 20, which is like still healthy and you can still look good. It's just you look at yourself in the worst way, and even though no one cares, it's just it will matter to you. And I can't promise that, but again, if you had like a Ferrari style car and you went back down, it really can torment you for a good amount. And so I'm not saying like if you want to not do this as a goal, it's definitely good to get leaner, make yourself look better, but I don't think you should prioritize looking like some movie star if you don't have to. As long as you look good for healthy reasons and you feel comfortable in your own skin, and in your head that you're performing well, no matter how you really look, as long as it's healthy, then that's what you should shoot for. Whatever makes you feel like you're getting the most fulfillment and closest to whatever goal you're hitting. Because again, while it does look good and it does maybe think that you get some perks or bonus, I could tell you, like, yeah, like as a guy with this lean physique, it may get you some extra attention from females, but I'm telling you guys, it's not that much of a difference to the point where like you get every female you want. It doesn't work that way. It definitely helps, but it's not like a closing factor. Like you still have to close the sale if you're asking out a female on a date, to all the guys listening. It doesn't really make a significant difference to the point that you think it would. And the last result too is like when you work out, it's like you have no energy at all, and like you really have to mentally push through, which you can say is a plus or a bonus because it really makes you mentally tougher. But in terms of like just performance, like your body just has to learn to adjust, because if you have a lot of energy and reserves when you're doing a workout, especially if it's like a leg day or something like that, like your body can push through. But like when you have like no energy in your body and like you have no fats for reserves, and if you didn't really eat a lot of carbohydrates for food, it's like your body's relying on almost nothing. So you kind of have to really be careful about how you work out if you want to keep your performance high. Other than that, because like your strength and energy is just going to go down the drain. And obviously you won't lose like all your muscle and become like super skinny, but you'll notice a big difference at this point when you have less body fat and you're feeling less full. Your performance in the gym will definitely start to go down over time if you don't just learn how to balance it. So while being this lean definitely does have its perks in terms of like just aesthetics, there's definitely a lot of dark sides and downsides, and I can go a lot more into it, but just want to keep it kind of short for you guys and keep it like basic so you understand just the main points. But just know if this is something that you're looking to pursue, that there are dark sides and downsides psychologically, physically, maybe spiritually too if you're kind of into that thing. It's not as good as everyone thinks, and I just don't want you guys to think that everyone who looks like this or tries to act like this and like they look all cool on social media, like it's not what you think it is for the most part. So I hope this helps, and guys, if you have any questions or anything, just reach out to me, or if you want to talk about anything, I'm here to start telling some stories about my fitness life and how they can relate to people and how it can help you guys out. Just share my experiences and see if you guys have also shared experiences. So if you guys have anything to talk about, just drop it in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.